Well, good evening. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. We're down at Silver Dollar City, and they got some music going on out there. So I might get hit with a music or a copyright hit or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We're sitting down while the kids are riding the rides, and I wanted to talk about building a group for hard times, for dangerous times coming along. As you can see, or maybe you can't. Maybe if you're new here, you might not realize. Kelly has been goading me for years. I say that because she's sitting right over there behind me. For years to get a black cowboy hat. Now, I don't. How many? 20 years, she said. 20 years. I explained to her that only outlaws and country singers wear black hats. I've never worn a black hat. That was for the bad guys. I've always worn straw or brown. That's my favorite thing. So I think she said, ask everybody whether I'm right or not, meaning her. She says, ask everybody whether they think that black is good or not. So I'm asking, feel free to express your opinions on whether you like this black hat. I kind of like it. I'll be honest with you. I kind of like it, but I like the cut. I like the brim. I like the crown. I like it. I just never been a black hat guy. However, it kind of folds in with what I want to talk about tonight, and while we're waiting for the kids to finish riding all the rides down here. And by the way, let me shout out to Link. Hey, Link, we just ran down here, spur of the moment, or we would have called you to see if you and the missus could join us. So thinking about you anyway. Link lives close by here. There's the music starting. Hopefully it won't bother any of the powers that be. It's probably religious music, so I know that could really be a problem, right? We have hard times coming, and a group of people is important. I know many of you have read my books, the Stone Mountain series, and you know that the strength there, it was all centered around a group, right? Starting off with family and then other people as they kind of melded into it. Different people call their groups different things, mags, tribes. I've never liked the term mag. Doesn't. Hey, if you use it, good for you. No. I'm not putting you down. I've seen most of those groups that are considered mags fall apart over one thing or another, mainly because they're brought together by a common interest of preparedness and survival. And when it turns out that people in that mag have some very different views on some foundational principles, then you have problems. Or egos get involved, and then you have problems. I also have never liked the term tribe, and I know that a lot of people like the term tribe. That's fine for those who like it. I don't like it, and I'll tell you why I don't like it. A tribe is made up mainly of a bunch of families or a bunch of clans, which are made up of families. And there's usually, what distinguishes a tribe is a central strong leader. I have never been a joiner in my life. I had a friend of mine, I think I've mentioned this before. I had a friend of mine who was a psychologist, and he says, I finally figured you out after he'd known me for a few years. And he said, you resent authority even when you represent it. And that's the truth. I don't like people thinking that they're the boss of me, and I don't care to be the boss of anybody else. Again, if you've read my books, you see that Jim Wyatt, which is I express a lot of my opinions through that character. He has he brought people in as a sense of responsibility, not because he wanted to be in charge of a bunch of people. Okay. Now he did have very strict requirements, and he didn't put up with any BS. I mean, somebody wanted to come in and get help and be a part of the group. They had to measure up and do their share. And it's one of those he who will not work will not eat kind of things. Matter of fact, they even posted that placard up there. So everybody has to do what they should, and if anybody wants to cause a problem, they're going to be gone. Simple as that. Kind of the way I am in my life. If somebody shows they're going to be a problem, they're gone. I don't spend any energy in my life trying to deal with people who are problems. Because when you do that, you're going to find out you're going to spend a lot of time dealing with people who are creating problems, and that takes away from your ability to do the positive things that you need to. So I don't like tribe, but if you do, that's all right. Uh, what I like is it is a group, and it's family centered first, family, and then family, which I have made up that term. I think maybe other people use it, but I think I made it up. Family meaning those friends that are almost like family, indistinguishable. As a matter of fact, some family you like better than you like some family, and you can trust them and all that. And then friends. And then outside there are the people, the outer periphery of associates and acquaintances and things like that. But the family unit is vital. Now, I know that a lot of you watching this are already beyond the point that I'm going to talk about, and that is raising your group, and that is raising your kids the way you need to in order for them to understand the importance of family, of loyalty, of hard work, of union, of all of that. And if you're past that, this probably doesn't, won't mean that much to you. But I'm speaking then to the younger people. But I will use Kelly and I as an example. Now, Kelly and I grew up in the same county in adjoining cities. All of my brother and sister live within just a few miles of me. We have nephews and nieces that live close. Kelly's family was only 10 miles from mine. All of her parents, all of her brothers live within a few miles of each other. All of the nephews, the nieces, all live within just a few miles. We were raised by parents and families that did not disperse, didn't and I know a lot of people, and I'm not putting anybody down on this. I know that a lot of people, they go to college, and then for a better job or whatever, they move all around the country, and they visit, their family on, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever. When hard times come, they don't have family right there. We do. And the interesting thing about Kelly and my family, we come from families that share the same traditional values, but have different strengths and different backgrounds. And that, I think, feeds the strength of a family and a group. I would say my suggestion is to raise or to try to reorganize your family if it's already a little bit separated into as strong a group as you can. And I don't mean take in people who have been problems. I do not mean that. I'm not one of those that says, well, their family no matter what. Well, if somebody has caused me a whole lot of trouble, yeah, they may be family, and I won't forget that. But I don't necessarily make that the deciding factor as to whether they are a trusted part of my group. And the same with other people. Just because you know somebody doesn't make them a friend, right? So when you're thinking about hard times coming, think about your group. Think about who makes it up. Do they have those foundational principles in common? Do you know what they believe in? Do you believe in the same things? And I'll say that religion and politics are very, very important. It may not be a deal breaker for some, but I can't imagine marrying anyone. Well, as you all know, I was 49 years old before I got married because I couldn't find anybody that I felt I wanted to till her. And I can't imagine. Listen up over there, honey. I'm going to ask you a question in a second. I can't imagine being married to and raising children with someone who felt differently than I do about religion or politics. What do you think about that? Huh? 100% agree. 100% agree. She speaks so quietly. like a little angel. Yeah, 100% agree. I talked to a guy the other day who is just as conservative as you can imagine, and we were talking about the upcoming election. And I said, "You going to watch the election night, the results at home?" He says, "Oh," he says, "my wife is really liberal. We don't talk about that." I think that would be really difficult. Uh, really, really difficult. And if you're talking about coming into some hard times like I think we could be, you need everybody on the same page because if they're not, you're going to have to be re-educating them in the process of trying to survive. And that can be painful for them and irritating to you. Matter of fact, I wanted to, at the same time that I started writing the Stonemont series, I had another book also started, and it was about just a neighborhood, kind of a cul-de-sac like we live in, and how all the different people might react in an EMP or a grid down situation. And I was going to give me the opportunity to bring in different personalities and how different people would act. And while I think it would be interesting, I also think that it would just be aggravating as can be, having all the kinds of personalities coming in, trying to address a catastrophe, because everybody's going to have an opinion. The people who don't know squat are going to think they know it all. You all know that. How many people do you all know? They don't know anything in the world about a situation, but boy, they got an opinion, right? Oh, I don't think we ought to do that. Well, it doesn't matter if you studied this for 5 years and they just heard about it. They have an opinion, and their opinion is going to carry as much weight as yours in their mind, right? And so I never have gotten around to that. And I don't know if I ever will, because today I just started laying in the outline of another book. You all know that I'm working on the organized crime book, and yes, I've started the 8th book of the Stonemont series. By the way, if you're new to us and you didn't know anything, my books, you can get them. The links are down below. You can get them through Amazon or from me directly through our website, and you'll like them. You'll learn a lot, and you'll like them. But I've just started laying out the outline of another that's going to be a nonfiction book about preparedness. And so I'm not sure. My point in saying that, I'm not going to tell you the title or anything. I know the title, but my purpose in saying that is I'm not sure if I'll get around to talking about or writing a book about a catastrophe with people with very disparate views of things, whether religious or political or anything like that. So when we think about our groups, and families used to think this way. That's in farm families, ranch families. Now city families not so much, because the cities, except for those people who owned businesses, if people who worked for somebody else didn't think about this. They said, well, I worked a job and my kids will go get a job with somebody else somewhere, and it was a constant fragmentation of a family that should have been kept together for strength. Farm families, ranch families, and families that owned businesses always thought about building the ranch, the farm, and the business for their children to first have jobs in, and then to take over when they wanted to retire or passed on or whatever. And as a result of that, it gives you a whole other dimension of being able to explain to your children the importance of those principles, which you would anyway, I would assume, and really developing them along the lines of not just being good people, good children, hopefully good future fathers and mothers, but a good part of the family unit and the group when that time came. Those of you who have read the Stonemont series, you've read about Jim Wyatt, the main character. When it all went down, first thing he wanted to do is get home to his wife and kids, and then all of a sudden, a few days later, here comes his nephew with another guy, and he says, well, you always told me that when hard times come, family's where you want to be. That's exactly right. So I don't know what stage of life you're in. Many of you are beyond this of thinking about, well, raising your own group. Your kids are gone; they're up and gone. I hope that they're close by. I hope that they share your views on things, because that's going to make your family group stronger. And when a family is strong, it really gives a basis for allowing other people to come in and become a part of it, integral parts of it, and actually add to the group, as opposed to coming in and trying to divide. That's one thing. You never want to allow outsiders to come in and divide your group, and that's what I have against a lot of mags or a lot of groups that are just put together for the purpose of preparedness, because you don't really know who these people are beyond that particular interest that you share of preparedness. And when things come up, then you have problems. So the reason that I call this Outlaws and In-Laws, I'll get back to that and kind of explain, is because hey, honey, you listened to this, most of it, I think. Did I already say that I didn't like black hats because they were just for outlaws and country singers? At the very beginning, she reminded me. I dubbed her my memory years ago. But,
And you also told him that you were wrong and I was right.
No. Now she's trying to tell me that I said things that I didn't say. She said, you also said that I was right and you were wrong, meaning she was right and I was wrong. I don't think I said that. Did I say that? No, I don't think I said that. She's trying to feed information into the disinformation. Kelly is trying to feed disinformation into here. We need a fact checker. But it showed me that. Are you trying to spotlight me? When I talked about Outlaws the other day, what made me think about this, when I finally broke down and got a black hat. We're all outlaws in different ways, and we will all become outlaws in more ways if things take a certain turn with our country. And I talked about that at length the other day, so I won't go through that again. If you're new to us and you don't know which it was, just go back a few and I'll talk about it. But it's a matter of making the decision whether obedience to immoral authority is moral or immoral. And I had this. I'll say this too. I had a couple of people make comments misusing scripture. Guys, I'll just say that I don't mind people putting scripture in, but guys, let me tell you, it is dangerous to misuse scripture. Not because I say so. I pretty much know scripture, and it's usually not a good idea to come in here and try to argue with me. I'm not going to say that I'm all the expert, but too many people think they know more than they do, and they'll take a scripture or a verse here or there and try to use it in a way that they think it means, and it doesn't. It doesn't. I had to delete a couple of comments because it was misleading, and I answered a couple that I thought might be helpful in educating others in the real meaning of it. So if you're going to leave some scripture, make sure that you know what you're talking about. I'll just say that, okay? So outlaws, yeah, we probably all are outlaws in some ways. We may become outlaws more depending on what happens. And then in-laws, remember that your extended family is such an important part of your total group, and that's why it's important. You know how you say you don't just marry the person, you marry their family? Well, that's why it's important to know that family. Don't figure that they're an outlier, because I tell you what, pretty much all of Kelly's family, I agree with. We agree. I just told them the importance of in-laws, baby. Honey?
Yes.
I just told them the importance of in-laws and not marrying into a group that feels different. It doesn't mean you have to agree on every little thing with them. It means that they have to have the same foundational principles and beliefs. And if you don't do that, you're asking for trouble. Asking for trouble. Right, she said. And every family, including mine, has got some that they're out there. Not everybody's as perfect as you and I, right? But anyway, just keep that in mind. Your group starts at home. Your strength starts at home under God. Never think that you can do anything important without Him. But after that, He created the family. He meant it to be the building block of community, and it's one of my favorite songs. I sing this one to Kelly sometimes in the truck.
You never sing.
I do too. You just don't listen to me. All right, guys. That's all I wanted to say. And I've got a black what? Now I have a black hat. Oh yeah, she says. You never sing. Well, now that I have my black country western singer's hat on, I guess I'll start singing. All right, guys. That's all I wanted to say. Keep that in mind. Build your group. Start with family if you can. Build a family around it, and then the friends. But be a hard judge of people. Let me ask my lovely wife over there again. Honey, have you ever known anybody that was a harder judge of people than me?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
But you know what? Some do, don't they? Some do measure up, don't they?
Very few.
Very few, but some do.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, I will take those very few over a whole bunch that don't. What was it that Charlie Beckwith used to say? He used to say, I'd rather go down the river with 10 studs than 100 morons, or he said it a little cruder than that. But that's the truth. You don't need a bunch of hangers on. You need people who you know have what it takes. You know you can count on them, and they can count on you, and you stand for the right things, and so do they. So you all have a great evening, and we're going to get back, and I'm going to go back and see how people look at me wearing this new black hat. Where they shy away from me or ask me to sing them a tune. Okay? All right. You all have a great night. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.